Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Ross with Stammer.ai, and today I'm going to be showing you a quick overview of how to run and scale an AI automation agency. Now, this is one of the things that's been growing in hype recently, and over the past couple of months, I've talked with a few hundred different online agencies and asked them how they intended to use AI to not only enhance their existing business practices, but to also offer it as a service to their clients. As ChatGPT and this whole idea of customized AI chatbots has gained popularity over the last couple of months, the barrier to entry and the cost it actually takes to develop one of these custom AI chatbots has been continually lowered week over week. What this means is now you can go to a place like Fiverr and there are literally hundreds of listings that claim to offer you a AI chatbot for just a couple $100. So the idea of being able to sell just an AI chatbot for $2,500 a month is not necessarily something that businesses are going to be interested in, especially moving forward. So that being said, what do we do now that we have this type of feedback, especially when hundreds of business owners are telling me that their clients don't understand how to use AI, they don't understand the benefits that it could provide their business, or just in general, they don't care at all about the technology or implementation or all the cool stuff that all the tech nerds like me love. So the solution to this is actually dressing up the AI chatbots as a more exclusive and value-driven offer. I know that sounds like a lot, so what I did is I created a mind map to help illustrate all of this in one place. So this mind map that I created is quite large and extensive. It goes over how to create and establish your agency's foundation, from creating your offer to sending that offer out to people, to generating traffic organically, capturing leads, following up with those leads to get them to book a meeting, and then how to actually close people on a sales meeting for this type of specific offer. There's quite a ton of information in here, but I just want to go over this first part, which is building your agency's foundation. Now, this is kind of where everybody starts to diverge off of a different path to figure out what it is they're actually trying to sell to their businesses, whether that's content generation, which is way overdone, if it's AI chatbots, which is going to be commoditized very shortly, or if it's going to be something more established like this, which is going to be a lead generation system and solution that leverages AI chatbots as the backbone of providing that end solution of generating more leads. And so what this mind map illustrates is that entire kind of process. So to get started, we are essentially right here. I mean, this is kind of where everybody is right now. How do we start selling AI chatbots? And the funny thing about this is we're not actually trying to sell AI chatbots. The most common problem you'll face, and this is exactly what I have heard from hundreds of online agency owners, is that business owners do not understand the true value of what these AI solutions can actually provide to their business. You know, they're more familiar with spending money on Google ads, Facebook ads, doing SEO, more traditional quote unquote lead generation tactics. And more often than not, a technical or technically savvy as a business owner, they just don't care. And especially if we're building out these like crazy looking automation workflows that are spiderwebbed and completely fragile at scale, built on, some of these other platforms. The idea is to offer something that's stable, something that's reliable, and something that will consistently generate this business leads week in and week out consistently over time. So that way you can justify a higher monthly fee towards that business owner. So instead of positioning it as an AI chatbot, we're going to be doing this instead. We're selling the end solution, which is generating more leads, meetings, sales, clients, etc. It's all kind of the same thing, generating more business. So these top tier solutions that you can provide look like this: more meetings booked on your calendar, new leads generated with contact data, qualifying leads based off of a question and answer conversation that you can train an AI chatbot to perform, and of course, reducing customer support costs. That's one of the best side benefits of adding AI chatbots to a website or to a business, is that you can actually reduce the amount of customer support billable hours that that company is paying for. And so we really clear it up right here. So instead of saying like, oh, I'm going to sell you an AI chatbot, we say, I'm going to build you an AI automated system that will book you more appointments automatically on your calendar every month. A couple other examples here is double your call volume in 30 days or less using our proven AI sales system. So you can kind of see like we're not even mentioning AI chatbot in these lines. It's broader, it's more expansive. We're going to create a lead generation system. And so if you may be wondering like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? Well, the whole idea is you can easily accomplish all of these goals and solutions by simply white labeling Stammer.ai as your own, which then allows you to offer your own SaaS to your clients as a tangible addition to the automation services that you are providing and setting up for them. And then real quick, if you're interested in how I've built out the rest of my agency tech stack, these are some of the solutions that I've been using quite consistently. I use Gumroad to collect emails for free value. One of the coolest things about Gumroad is that you can provide digital products for free, but add a little option that says pay what you want. So if you want it for free, you can put in $0 and you get it for free, or you can put in a couple dollars. And what's interesting is there's a certain percentage of your general audience that will always donate a couple dollars. So you can always kind of monetize top of funnel content by providing this type of option to your users, the ability to give you donations, which is really cool. High level, or GHL, I've been using this for a few years now. It's a relatively good solution, but at scale, when you have lots of different businesses and clients and things at scale, using a platform like this that allows for sub-account management to control and build all of the different landing pages, websites, emails, text messages, everything, all the workflow automations that need to be done per account. In my humble opinion, GHL is one of the best ways to go, especially again, because you can white label it and pair it with your white labeled version of Stammer.ai and connect the two together to complete all of these workflow automations that we're selling up top up here. Webflow is definitely an optional one and more advanced because that is a whole learning experience in and of itself. You could spend days, weeks, months even trying to figure out how to build it. If you do know how to build it, or if you do take the time, this is one of the things that I took the time to learn over COVID. So fortunately, I'm able to use Webflow slightly enough to be able to make a relatively decent landing page. But the idea here is now Webflow is like that next level if you're looking for something super advanced looking. But to be honest, most of my sites, including Stammer.ai, are all built on a GHL website. Calendly and Zoom are a deadly combo together for booking meetings on your calendar. Loom is like one of the best and most sneaky things. Of course, you can do it for video sharing, but I actually use it more for video hosting because you can embed videos on a web page and they are the exact size that you define in that embed code. Otherwise, like for example, on YouTube, when you try to embed a YouTube video, it's like the full width of the video. But let's say I want a video that's 1080 by 1080, so it's a perfect square. Like with Loom, you can do that super easy. Trello and Notion. Trello is my second brain. Everything that comes into my mind or something, I'll look at it and then it goes into a Trello card for later. My philosophy behind this that I've been using for years is get everything out of my brain onto quote unquote paper. So that way I can keep the space in my brain fresh for solving problems, high level thinking, coming up with the next ideas, so on and so forth. And Notion is one of the best ones that I've been using for outwardly facing towards customers or towards clients or towards the team. Both of them are very similar. Honorable mention is Miro, which is the website I'm using to make this mind map right here. I've tried a lot of different mind map tools, but I keep coming back to Miro. And so much so that I started paying for it. But yeah, highly recommend Miro. So now if we kind of zoom out here, so if we look at our agency tech stack, that's going to be setting up the foundation of what we are selling. Now that we kind of know what we're selling these end solutions. We're not telling people that we're selling them AI chatbots. We're telling them that we're selling lead generation automation systems. And what we need to now do is create a more irresistible offer around that using a few different tactics like scarcity, urgency, and guarantees. And so the key information here, and a lot of this is pulled from our guy, Alex Hormozi, is we need to create an irresistible offer for the business owner. So what that means is when they hear or see your irresistible offer, they are like, oh my God, I would be stupid not to purchase this right now for whatever reason in their minds. But the idea is we want to get them thinking like, oh, I need to purchase this right now. And this is all, generic stuff from Hormozi's book, Lead with Results, Introduce the Mechanism, Risk Reversal, Scarcity and Urgency, Over Deliver. This all can be referenced in ChatGPT. You could even just pull up ChatGPT and be like, help me write a VSO, but based on Hormozi's script, and it will know because it's been trained on the 100 million book. But we can kind of see an example of what each of these might look like for somebody who's going to sell a lead generation automation system. So leading with the result would look like this. And this is all how we're going to structure the offer to the end client. Lead with the result. Want a calendar flooded with qualified appointments? Our AI system makes it happen. So we're setting up the end result immediately right at the top of the front of the video or email, whatever it may be. This could even be how you position somebody in a call, or this could even be your quote unquote elevator pitch. Next one is introduce the mechanism or the product. So introducing our state-of-the-art AI automation scheduling system designed to bring you more appointments without the hassle. And with risk reversal, what we're trying to do is eliminate the customer's perceived risk up front. And so we do that through a guarantee, like you don't pay until your first meeting is booked. And that's a pretty powerful guarantee, all things considered. Once we hit them with that guarantee, we need to hit them with our scarcity and urgency, which says we only have room for 10 more people this month. Once that is filled, that's it. We're not going to let any more people in. The other way I really like doing this is setting up a wait list. So on your homepage, instead of having a button that says, learn more or start now or sign up for a free trial, whatever it may be, you can just simply say join waitlist to establish that kind of sense of urgency even prior to people clicking on a button and opting into your website. And then the final kicker, or where we kind of really get them, is in the bonus. And this is continually added perceived value. And in this example, we're going to throw in a free 1-hour strategy call to deep dive your business and uncover other areas where AI can enhance your existing business practices. This is simply a way for you to get them on another call to diagnose their business, to be able to offer any upsells. Because you'd be surprised, the barrier to being a good agency is actually quite low. If you can show a customer that you have really good customer support, your communication is on point, and you respond in a timely manner, customers are going to stick around. So if you can continue to provide them value, they will continue to pay you money. And finally, everybody's favorite part is the call to action. This is the game changer you've been waiting for. Act now and leave your competition behind. You can obviously fix this one up a little bit, but the idea is to get people interested to book a meeting and or close and sign up as a customer right then and there. And so if we put this all together, we can see that this is kind of what that script might look like if we're positioning this to a customer. And the cool thing is what you can do is take this information, paste it into ChatGPT and say, hey, use this information as an example and rewrite it for my business, and then paste in information about your business to get a quote unquote script that will look something similar like this for the specific offer that you are offering your clients. So once you've put your offer together, once you put everything together, we now need to look into which niche we are going to select. There's a lot of different ways you could go about selecting a niche. My advice is the first thing that you want to look at is which ones you have the most knowledge in. Because if you're able to show a genuine interest or have previous knowledge for a specific niche, that's going to naturally come through when you're talking to clients, creating content, whatever it may be, versus someone who has no idea what they're talking about and is kind of like stuttering over their words or whatever it may be, versus someone who may not be as experienced. But I will always fall back onto this one first as the main thing I want to kind of filter everything else through. Purchasing power is important, obviously. This is one of those things that you can attribute to different types of businesses who have different types of customers. So for example, a restaurant might have a customer average order value per visit of $20, let's say. On the other hand, a chiropractor might have an average customer order value per visit of a couple $100s. And so you can see the value of the customer to each of these businesses is quite different. That is a direct reflection of the general idea of what purchasing power a business can provide to an agency offering lead generation services to acquire them new customers that are worth that much money. I have more examples in a second, but I want to mention this graph on how you can try to visualize and organize your ideas when going through and targeting specific niches. And this graph is actually from a video from Liam Otley, and he actually filmed a really good course about how to start an AI automation agency, where he goes into more depth about how to position AI and automation services to different businesses in those certain niches. So once you start to figure out which type of business niche you want to go after, looking at which type of way you're going to position your offer to that niche starts to come into play. And there's really only two ways to do it: the save them money option or the make them money option. And because the save them money option is most often included in the make them money option, and what I mean by that is simply offering customer support. That's like one of the best things that AI chatbots can do just inherently. So that's just always included in the make them money options because it's also going to answer those questions no matter what. So we are really only going to focus on the make the money option, which is generating more leads and sales. So the actual implementation is quite simple. You install an AI chatbot onto the customer's website. The AI is going to ask a user a set of questions, and then based on the user's responses, the AI is going to provide a quote or send them a link to book them on a calendar. So because over 50% of website visitors expect some sort of live chat widget to be on a website, having one that will automatically respond to questions instantly and be able to provide more quotes generated automatically is going to lead to more business automatically. So in this example from a past client, a contractor was spending multiple hours a day calculating quotes. And so this is a trash hauling dumpster rental service. So in the past, the user would ask, hey, I have, a few yards of concrete I need to get rid of, or I have a few mattresses I need to get rid of. Like, how much is that going to cost? And so instead of a human having to sit there and manually respond to stuff, the AI chatbot can come back and be like, when do you need it hauled away? How much square footage do you actually have? And be able to have a conversation with a client to understand what it is their needs actually are, and then provide them with a ballpark quote on what it might actually cost, and then ask them if they'd like to book a call or schedule a meeting with an agent to discuss that quote. So that entire flow is essentially exactly this system that you can install to any business. And it can be customized to ask certain questions or respond in certain ways to direct users in a flow that you are in control of. So the contractor is one good niche, but here are a few other really good ones. The e-commerce niche is probably one of the most profitable in the sense that a lot of them are paying for services like Gorgeous or Talk2, where they're paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per person per month. And these are customer support VAs to be able to sit on a live chat and respond back and forth with customers. And when those responses take a few minutes to receive, or they're not entirely accurate, customers are less satisfied and more likely to leave the website. With an AI chatbot, you solve all of those problems and reduce the amount of costs that they are spending on those customer support VAs. And so in this example, you can see that if they are saving about $3,000 a month in expenses, you can simply just charge them a premium on their savings, which would be about $1,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We've heard from multiple agencies in the advertising niche that this is how they are approaching their existing client customer base to provide additional value within their infrastructure, and the client saves a ton of money, which is really cool. The local and service-based businesses are what I was talking about earlier with the chiropractor example. These are the guys that have a couple $100s on average per person per visit. And this is how you can kind of structure, okay, what's the value of a new customer to you? And then be like, okay, well, our chatbot can generate X amount of new appointments booked per month based off of the general amount of website traffic that you have, and then figure out a premium based off of that amount of business that was generated. And then by far one of my favorites is our restaurants. So these guys are classic. These are like classic hustler kids in New York. They are basically going to different restaurants and walking in with their phone and showing a chatbot to the business owner and being like, hey, do you want a menu AI? It will answer, how many calories does something have? What's in it? Is it vegan? All the things, right? What happens though is they will train the chatbot to say to the user after the user is happy or all the questions are answered, they'll be like, great, I'm happy I could answer all your questions. Screenshot this conversation and come into the restaurant and show us the screenshot. And when you show us the screenshot, we'll give you a free entree or a drink or a side item or whatever it may be. That creates a tangible loop for the restaurant and the restaurant owner, where customers are now actually coming into the store, and they could be new customers, creating a feedback loop that tells the business owner, oh my God, this AI thing is actually working and generating me leads. I can see it. People are coming into the store and telling me and showing me. And that also signals to all the other customers in the store, oh my gosh, I could have gotten a discount or I could have gotten a free thing if I had used the AI chatbot and then, done that screenshot. So that's the kind of idea and value that some of these systems, not just an AI chatbot, it's the system of setting that up. The implementation is through an AI chatbot. So the system is what you're really selling and setting up for these business owners. And I always love that example from the restaurant. The real estate example is quite simple, and it's very similar to that contractor example over here, where it'll simply ask the user a set of questions, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, all the things, and then generate a quote, and then ask the user if they want to schedule a meeting, and then book the meeting. These are the type of automations and sequences that are getting businesses to have more people automatically booked on their calendars without them having to do any sort of warming up or anything like that. So that's part one of setting up your agency's foundation. Part two is going to be going over traffic generation, capturing leads, following up with those leads to actually automatically book appointments yourself. And I go over the exact scripts and DM flows that I've been using to generate hundreds of meetings booked on my calendar every single month. The third part is actually what you do on that sales meeting, how you display this information, how you showcase the value and the end results of what a business can see or expect based off of these AI and automation systems that you've created. All right, so now that we know what we're going to sell, we need to figure out how to get people to sell it too. So traffic generation, lead capture, and follow-up is the second part of this kind of big overview of the mind map. And inside this section, we have it broken down into 3 different sections: lead generation, lead qualification and warming, and scheduling a meeting. Now, I like to preface by saying this is a inbound lead generation strategy. And this is by far one of the most effective and cost-effective ways to do things at scale, especially once you start to establish yourself as an authority figure and generate your own audience. So one of the ways that you set yourself up as that authority figure is by creating content around your product and service. So what I mean by that is essentially, if this is your core product and service or offer, we want to create content that's around that type of offer. So think, what are the other problems and solutions that business owners are thinking of when they're also thinking of this type of problem and solution? How do I get more leads for my business? Because we're selling AI and automation services to these clients, we can start creating content around AI and automation. And this is really good because it's one of the things that's, being pushed by the algorithm the most lately. So it all starts with organic content creation. And one of the most important pieces of this part of this mind map is the call to action. Now, typically what people have done in the past is a call to action at the end of their videos, which could be something like, follow me for more, or be sure to like and follow, or leave a comment down below of what you think, something like that. Now, those are all fine, with the exception of calling out your link in bio. That one definitely doesn't work anymore because of the reason why Meta, aka Instagram, wants to keep people on their platform. So when you have a call to action that is literally telling people to go off of platform, you can kind of get the idea. And that's the exact reason why our call to action, which is DM me a specific keyword and I'm going to send you a link, is one of the best ways that you can take advantage of both of these strategies. And so I'm literally talking about in the call to action of your video and in the comments and in the description of the video, you're going to have a sentence that literally says, DM me, or DM, you would enter in your profile name here, DM me a keyword, in this case, top 100, and I'll send you a link or a list or a piece of free value. So what we're doing is we're going to set up a value ladder here. What that means is we're going to continuously provide free value over and over and over again. So that way we are starting to psychologically condition each of these users to accept this information that we're giving them as additional free value. And I'll go over more of that in a little bit. But the cool thing is, by doing this DM me a keyword strategy, we're also aligning our content, aka our videos, with Meta's overall directive of connecting people with other people. And by doing so in the DMs, Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, has come out multiple times saying that they have shifted the algorithm to be how people are interacting and using their platform, which is finding a piece of content and then sharing it in the DMs with their friends or group chat. So if we take our content and align it with that strategy that the head of Instagram is literally telling us, that's going to increase our profile visits. It's going to increase the action on the video. It's going to help the video go more viral. And a side benefit, which is really cool, is people start to feel like they are engaging with you and your account on a one-on-one basis. And so this means that they're starting to warm themselves up essentially. And so using a app like ManyChat, we can create a automated DM sequence that looks something like this. This is what it would look like to us as the admins. And then this is what it would look like to a user who's DMing us that specific keyword. So in this example, this guy is DMing the keyword AI SaaS, and then the automation is going to respond back with a link to a mind map, kind of like this. And I think this is a Gumroad link to opt in for a tutorial. And you can see that this is being sent hundreds of times. The open rate is pretty incredible. And this is all done automatically within ManyChat. And this is actually one of the other quote unquote automation services that you could provide to your clients, is setting setting up the infrastructure that I'm essentially showing you as an additional service for lead generation automation. And so the first thing that can happen in this scenario is a user will click on one of these links, which then brings them to opting in for that free value resource that they just clicked on. So for example, if I sent them the top 100 AI SaaS websites, I could send them to a Gumroad, which would then allow them to enter in a fair price. They could enter in zero, but they could also enter in a value, which then allows me to collect some donations on this top of funnel content and then immediately receive the value that I have promised in exchange for their email address, of course. So now while this is happening, that user now just got another notification in their DMs. And this is where things get really juicy. And this is my favorite part. And this is the message. You're going to send some variation of this message to a user. By the way, want to learn how to use AI automation like this to create a constant, predictable, and scalable pipeline for your business? Let me know and I'll send you the free tutorial. Now, again, we're positioning this as an additional piece of free value, but in reality, what we're doing is we're actually going to send them to a VSL landing page. I'll go over that more in a little bit. I just want to make sure that we're super clear on this part because this is the best part. So we're sending the user is going to watch a video. They then are going to DM us the first keyword. In that sequence, they've now seen one piece of free value from this video right here. They're then going to DM us to get the resource, which is the second piece of free value, which is going to be this guy right here. Now they're getting a DM that says, hey, by the way, do you want another piece of free value? So this will now be the third piece of free value, quote unquote, that we're offering them. And the key here is this is now going to be sending them to a non-opt-in landing page with a video. And that video, we're telling them is a tutorial, but what we're going to do is make it actually a sales video, a VSL, that positions that AI automation service, which is what we've created over here. Hey, I'm going to establish and build you an AI automation system that will book you more appointments. You create a VSL for that and put it on a landing page that person is now watching. So now by this point, they've seen your video, they've gotten your free value resources, and now they're watching a free tutorial about how they can generate more leads for their business on autopilot using AI automation that just captured them into landing on this landing page to watch the video that they are now watching. So I know this gets kind of meta, but it's really cool because now when you eventually talk to that person down the road, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the exact system that we can help install for your business, is the one that captured you into getting on this call. So it's like one of those things where, oh, if it worked on you, it's most likely going to work on your customers, right? Like, yeah, of course. So we're sending them to this landing page that has a header, a VSL video, which is between 3 to 6 minutes long, and then a call to action with a button. Now that call to action with a button could be create an account, it could be sign up, it could be opt in, it could be join wait list where you provide some scarcity and urgency, but whatever it may be, you're sending people to a lead capture form where you can qualify that person. And this can be different for every niche. It could be different for every business, but the main point you want to do is, does this person have money to spend, and do they want to spend this money now? So the idea is you could ask them, when are you interested in starting? And then the 4 options that you give them are, I want to start right away, I want to start this week, I want to start next week, I want to start this month, or I'm not sure. And that kind of positions that it's like 3 out of those 4 options are essentially now, this within a month, or the other option is not sure. If they choose one of those first 3 options, they're essentially a qualified lead as long as they say that they have, some money to spend. And you can kind of do the same thing for budgeting, like how much money are you interested, or what plan are you interested in, and offer the 3 different tiers or a not sure. And if they choose that not sure, then they may not be somebody that is super qualified that you want to reach out to manually. And in that case, what you want to do is send them to an email follow-up nurture sequence. Now, this can be done in a lot of different ways. Like we mentioned earlier in part 1, since I use GHL, that's kind of how I run all of my email automated sequences. So I'll pull that information in automatically through the form, and that's a native sequence. And then that will automatically be piped into the email flows, which send them emails to nurture and eventually hopefully push them back to signing up for that higher end ticket service. That's also where people go from here as well. So if they don't go through this other flow, they're also still getting added to the email flow because we've captured their email from the value resource opt-in over here. And this is one of the best parts about this whole thing is regardless of if you capture and convert that customer on this, essentially on this first touch point, you're collecting your email, which means you're growing your list, which is like one of the best things that you can do as an agency, which allows you to do further email sends down the road, essentially to continue to nurture those clients or potential clients. After they've submitted the form, ideally what's going to happen is if they're qualified, they then get sent to the book a meeting section. Now, at this point, they should be hot and ready to schedule, because the offer that you've positioned through your VSL is so enticing and so, oh my God, I'm stupid. If I don't buy this, I have to buy this right now, that they're going to schedule this meeting. And so by this point, now you've kind of got a qualified lead who's already warmed themselves up against you and your business and your information. They've already seen you and your face, ideally, through your video and your content. They feel like they've interacted with you through your DMs, even though it's all automated through ManyChat. And potentially they've gotten a few additional touch points from the resource value opt-in and the email nurture sequences that immediately trigger when they opt in for that first offer. So the cool thing is you can essentially go from one piece of content or one video, and the cool thing is this can be stretched out a lot against multiple pieces of content or multiple videos. You can have this same call to action in a lot of different pieces of content. And this is kind of what I do. On a monthly basis, I'll create 2 to 4 different opt-ins, and then I'll create new DM call to actions for those opt-ins and those offers, knowing that the idea is to get them to go to one of my landing pages to then book a meeting. And if I can get them on a meeting, that's when either myself or my sales team can show them the different things that we can offer through our software, and then eventually get them as a paying customer. And this is one of the things that you can also turn around and use for your own business, but again, flip it around and provide it as another end service for your business or for your clients. So ideally, now that they've been booked on your calendar, we have to kind of figure out how to run a sales call. And if you're not familiar with that, or if you were, more introverted like me and not necessarily, a sales guy, whatever that means, essentially you just need to get some experience underneath your belt. Once you do a few of these sales calls, you'll become more comfortable, and it'll be much easier for you to actually sell and close people on these calls and not have to worry about continually following up and chasing people for revenue and all these different things. So in part 3, we'll be going over how to close on the sales meeting using a few different special tactics with some special offers. So, all right, so now we've gone over the first 2 parts of the AI agency and how to scale it. We want to talk about how to actually close new clients on a sales call. Now, this is one of the most creative, let's say, pieces of the puzzle. There's no one right way, or, there's lots of different ways that you can do this type of call. This is the way that I typically run sales calls, but there are lots of different ways that you can do this. The way that I like to typically start is organizing everything with my tech, so I know that automations are being done correctly, everything's set up properly, so that way I'm not being double booked, all that type of stuff. In order to do that, I use a combination of Calendly and Zoom. Now, I have used GHL's internal calendar booking appointment solution in the past, but when you're running things quickly, and sometimes it's just too much. So in my opinion, going with the Calendly Zoom solution is, in my opinion, a little bit better, even though it might cost a little bit more and be a little bit more cumbersome because there's more things to manage. It's actually easier in the long run because everything's kind of siloed for just your email notifications and everything for your meetings. Now, speaking of email notifications, if you're doing a lot of meetings at scale, you're probably going to get a fair amount of no-shows. So one of the ways to reduce the amount of no-shows is to increase the amount of notifications that you're sending. So this is typically how you can structure the sequencing for your different notifications, whether it's an email or an optional SMS notification, and the different timings prior to your meeting of when you should be sending that notification. So typically what I'll do is I'll send an email 24 hours before, 1 hour before, and 5 minutes before. There's also an additional one that I've added recently that asks 2 days before for the person to reconfirm the meeting. And this is one of the things that you can add within Calendly to essentially assure that the person is actually is going to show up on that call. And that's a feature that you can set directly in Calendly in one of the notification sections. If you edit one of these notifications, there will be an option that says add reconfirmation button. And then that's exactly what will be added into that email. And then that can be an email flow that you add prior to the email 1 day before before message notification. After you get everything kind of set up and you start getting meetings booked on your calendar, how do you start preparing and getting ready for these meetings? Well, nobody's been angry about being over prepared. So the way I like to reduce my stress is to be overly prepared for these different meetings. And to do that, what I'll do is do some research on the company or the person that I'm having the call with. And that is simply just going to their website, looking at what they're doing, looking at their social media, just kind of getting a feel and a vibe for what they're doing. Once I know that, then I can kind of approach and ask certain questions that might be more applicable to them rather than, some other company that, is doing something completely different to what they're offering to their business and to their clients. Another really good way you can do this is using the information that you receive in the qualification survey. So over here, if this survey or form has specific information that's like, what are you interested in? Or please best describe yourself, or what are you most interested in? Or what are your, pain problems? You can use all of that information to help influence and prepare for your meeting. So that way you are coming to that meeting with the most actionable items and steps that you can provide to that client. So that way you have a clear objective of what they are looking for and the solutions that you can provide to match those problems. Okay, so now you're ready for the meeting. When you actually get on the meeting, how do you start it? How do you break the ice, so to speak? So the way that I like running meetings is I'll let people join the call and then I'll say, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. My name's Ross. And then I'll let them introduce themselves like any other interaction with a normal human where you introduce yourself. So just say, hey, what's up? How's it going? My name's so-and-so. Nice to meet you. And then start it from there. The next question that I kind of lead or flow into is, where are you calling in from today? And that is one of the lowest barrier, questions that is a little bit more personal prior to getting into business talk to kind of step things off. And typically after that question, you can go immediately into business. So where are you calling in from? Oh, I'm calling in from Austin, Texas. Oh, cool. I'm in Las Vegas. Okay, great. And then there you go. And then you can say the next line, something what I'll say is, I'm excited to hear more about your business, help you get some, solutions, help you get set up, help you generate more leads, whatever it may be. You can tailor that line and then let them respond. The idea is to get them talking early. You want to get them talking so that way they can provide you with as much information as possible. So that way you can then start to kind of tailor and customize your pitch to them so that they are more likely to purchase right away. And that's exactly what I say right here. So asking discovery questions, getting them talking early, ask open-ended questions to uncover the pain points, figure out and probe deeper into their specific pain points to figure out what it is that they are actually looking for. And one of the best questions that you can ask is what you have done before to solve this problem. And that will give you an idea of what to pitch, what not to pitch. So for example, if they're like, oh, I've been trying to generate more leads and I've tried ads, that doesn't work. I've tried SEO and that doesn't work. Well, you can be like, oh, great. Now I know that those are two different things that they've tried in the past, and I can showcase the AI and automation solution as a cheaper alternative that's more reliable, that's faster, all the different things against those solutions. So that way, when we're immediately making it seem like our offer is different and better than the stuff that they've tried in the past and failed at. Some other discovery questions to consider down here, walking you through your decision-making process, etc. These are a little bit more, robotic in the sense, and not something that I would necessarily ask right, up front. The idea is I want to create a conversation, a very natural conversation where I can provide immediate value to that potential customer. So that way, if they end up not even purchasing on this call, they're leaving this call with additional value and additional steps that they can take. So that way they can actually, get something out of it, so to speak. And most of the time that happens directly from the presentation and demo, because you can kind of structure this as a free trial, especially if you're white labeling Stammer.ai, you can provide a free trial with no credit card needed. So that way it's extremely enticing for people to sign up because they could essentially start getting leads automatically without having to pay anything. That's one of the best ways that we've found to structure your offer. And that's how we structured our Irresistible offer with our guy Hermosi over here. Keep that in mind when we're giving our presentation. We want to make sure that we're focusing on their end solutions, which is ideally generating more leads for their business. So if we're able to focus on that aspect prospect specifically, we can then showcase a demonstration that is specific and already customized to their business. So if you have their website prior to jumping on the call, you can create a chatbot for them in 5 minutes or less and be able to then showcase that custom AI chatbot to the customer on that call, and potentially even give them a share link where they could then share it with their team. And that could be one of the things that you provide as a resource at the end of the call, which is something that I'll go over in a little bit. But on this presentation, you're going to be obviously showing them how everything works. You're not trying to overwhelm them. You're only going to show them the stuff that's going to be applicable to what their business needs. So in the case of the AI and automation solutions, you don't even necessarily even need to show them the software or anything that you're doing in general. You could just create a slide deck that shows them, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and these are the type of results that you can expect, and we're going to manage and do it everything for you in a done for you service. And that type of process will set it up to where your end service deliverable, even though you have a white label dashboard with Stammer.ai to provide to your customer, which is an incredible tangible thing to provide, that's a backup to the actual services that you're providing up front. And I know that might seem a little confusing, but the idea is you're providing a service which is not tangible, and you're also providing a software, Stammer, as a tangible SaaS. So putting them together, you're getting the benefits of both, ideally. So then down here, we're addressing different pain points, how we can address those common concerns like security, onboarding, all this different stuff. These are typical questions that customers are going to want to know. And these are all things that you can kind of pre-prepare for because they're very common. People are going to ask these over and over and over again. And these are the type of questions that once you're able to answer them, like once, you're going to just remember that answer, and then it's just like rinse and repeat. Answer that over and over and over again. And that's where basically what objection handling is it's just answering questions. Like people think objection handling is like, oh, you're doing this, okay, but it's just, you're just answering questions. So if someone is asking me a question, I will always respond and kind of like nod in a positive manner and smile and make sure I'm acknowledging their question as they're saying it, not verbally, but visually, and then waiting for them to actually finish asking their question. A lot of times I see people trying to jump over people and talk over them and answer because, I know the question or I know the answer right away, but we just want to be chill and laid back. Like so many people are pressured into purchasing things when they're not ready, and then they get a bad taste in their mouth. Like if you can set up that you have good customer service and good customer support, you're going to be able to go so far with these customers who are this far down your funnel. And I mean that in the sense that so many agencies are trying to go for the sale extremely quickly. But truly, if you're trying to provide value where your solutions are actually going to provide good end results to the end business, then it's much easier to just kind of sit back, listen to their questions, and then be able to respond and just be like, yeah, this is the answer and that's it. And it's as simple as that. And that's kind of the idea, is you want to make it so that you can clearly explain all of the next steps within the presentations. That way it's a very logical process for the customer to follow. This is your problem. This is like what you would say to the business owner. Here's your problem. Here's the solution that we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. And here's the results that you can expect within, X amount of time. And that's how we're going to really close everything on the sale, is recap the value, make sure that we tie in that urgency to say, hey, we're only giving out X amount of, slots for new customers, this month. And then what's funny is most people forget to even just ask for the sale. Like, hey, are you interested in purchasing today? Most of the time people are going to say, oh, I have to talk with my business partner. Oh, I have to, yada, yada, yada. If you want to be a shark salesman, you can go in depth and further on those points and try to objection handling, which is, typically how people might understand or interpret that, where if the person's like, oh, I got to talk to your business owner, you could be kind of like a more pushy salesman and be like, oh, so you're not the decision maker at your business. And then you're kind of putting them on the spot, which then might make them feel kind of in a certain way. So in my opinion, I don't do that. I let the product and the solution speak for itself, and all of the, surrounding value to push it up, to let it truly, showcase itself. And then I go for the sale as just simply asking for the sale. Are you interested in getting started today? I'd be happy to set you up. And if you do, we'll get on another hour-long onboarding call, which is included for free, where we can go over your content strategy, go over other items in your business and how AI can help enhance those places, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the idea, is like we're trying to just get people into the fold, and then we can start to, work with them and upsell them down the road. So one of the most important things to do after you either close the sale right away. So let's say they're, yes, I'm interested. Okay, great. You're going to send them the payment link right away. And then you're going to follow up with them essentially every day until they have purchased or told you no for whatever reason. If they tell you no, try to get them on another call to then see why they're interested in telling you no. More often than not, they found some other competitor or some other solution that might be a little bit cheaper. At that point, you can just reiterate your guarantee of, we're not going to charge you until you generate your first appointment. Everything's a done for you business and strategy, etc. So after this call, let's say they don't sign up right away. Then comes the follow-up. And this is one of the most important parts, is we want to now continue to follow up and nurture those people over time. This is something that I have trouble with. This is something that everybody has trouble with. But if you can try to think, like, if you are consistently showing up in the inbox of a potential prospect or customer, and you're continuously providing value and pushing people to opt in for different things, there's so many different touch point opportunities for that person to become a paying client in some facet, which then you showcase your good customer support and your good customer service, which you then can leverage to even further upsell to higher ticket services. And this is how you can start scaling your agency past just what you can do as a service-based agency with you and your time, or you and your team and your time, is you can start scaling with SaaS offers like white labeling Stammer.ai as a value add, where you can be like, hey customer, now you can log into our custom software where you can create and manage your own chatbots in additional to the ones that we've created for you. You can upsell the lead generation automation strategy, which is the part 2 of this whole thing. There's a lot of different options that you can kind of do, but the idea is once you get people in your neck of the woods, then you can start upselling them and showcasing that you're an agency worth working with long term. So I know that was a ton of information, but I hope it made sense. There's going to be some further updates to this over the coming weeks, so stay tuned. If you're interested, I'll be dropping the full mind map below so you can review and go over all 3 different parts. And if you're interested, there's also going to be a coupon code down below where you can sign up for an exclusive lifetime discount for Stammer.ai. Our prices are either, by the time you're seeing this video, have just gone up or they're about to go up. So take a look at that and you can sign up and get started right away and offering AI automation services at scale in an efficient manner to you and your clients. So as always, if you have any other questions, please leave a comment down below and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks.